If the thought of building another presentation makes you want to hide under your desk, well, this one's for you. We're about to walk through a totally new way to work using Gemini in Google Workspace. It's a workflow that takes that messy pile of documents and turns it into a deck you'll actually be proud of. Seriously, it's kind of like magic.
Yeah, we've all been there, haven't we? Just staring at that bright white empty slide, feeling that creative dread creep in. It's a struggle we all know. But what if? What if you could just skip that whole blank page nightmare altogether? I mean, this is the classic problem, right? You've got all the information. It's buried in PDFs, long docs, maybe a spreadsheet or two. But turning that mountain of data into a sharp, clear story, it feels impossible sometimes. And that is the exact problem we're going to solve today.
So, let's meet your new secret weapon. The key here is to stop thinking of Gemini as just another chatbot. Instead, picture it as your personal creative director, your copywriter, and your graphic designer all rolled into one. And it lives right inside your Google Apps. It's a total shift in how you get this work done.
Okay, this concept right here, grounding, this is Gemini's superpower. See, when you give it permission to look at your files in Google Drive, you're giving it context. It's not just guessing about your business, it's using your reports, your data, your strategy docs. And that's what makes the results so incredibly good.
All right, so to pull this off, we're going to use a super simple 3-stage workflow. It's a repeatable process that will take you all the way from a chaotic mess of files to a final, polished presentation. Let's break it down.
First up is the brainstorm, and the goal here is pretty simple. We're going to turn all those scattered documents into a solid, structured outline for your deck, without you having to reread a single page yourself.
And you won't believe how easy it is. You just pop open Gemini, type that little @ symbol, which brings up your Google Apps, select Drive, and then just tell it which files to look at. You're basically the director, telling your AI assistant exactly what info to pull. And look at how specific you can be. You're not just saying summarize this, you're pointing it to exact documents and telling it to create an outline for a very specific need. This, right here, is an absolute game changer.
So here's the best part. Because Gemini is grounded in your actual files, it doesn't make stuff up. No AI hallucinations. You just get an accurate, relevant outline, and you've literally saved yourself hours of mind-numbing work. Now, on to stage 2. We've got our outline, but here's the pro move. We're not jumping into Google Slides yet. That's a classic mistake. First, we're going to workshop the actual content inside Google Docs using this really cool smart editing interface they call Canvas. This is where you get to play with the words and perfect the message. You can highlight any part of your outline and just tell Gemini what to do. Need to make it sound more professional? Done. Want to pull out the key stats from a dense paragraph? Easy. Have to explain it to a non-technical crowd? Just ask. You're shaping the entire narrative before you even think about fonts and colors. Okay, the text is looking sharp. The story is clear. Now it's time for the main event, Google Slides. And you'll notice the heavy lifting is already done. You're not a writer anymore, you're the director, ready to bring this whole thing to life visually. So forget about endlessly scrolling through cheesy stock photo sites. Now you can generate completely custom images right inside Slides. Look at this prompt. You can specify the style, the subject, even your own corporate colors to get a totally unique visual that actually fits your message. And here's my favorite hidden gem. You've just finished the slides and then you remember, you still have to write out your speaker notes. Well, guess what? Gemini can do that for you. It'll look at the content on your slide and draft your talking points, saving you from one more tedious, soul-crushing step. So look, each one of these steps is pretty amazing on its own, but the real magic, the thing that makes this system unbeatable, is how all these Google apps work together. It's a seamless ecosystem. Let me show you a couple of pro-level tricks. What if you've got some really important data, but it's all locked up in a Google Sheet? No problem at all. That's right, no more copy-pasting charts or worse, taking screenshots. Right from inside Slides, you can tell Gemini to go into a specific spreadsheet, analyze the numbers, and create a slide that summarizes the key takeaway. It is unbelievably efficient. Or what about this classic scenario? We've all been here. You're just about to finish, and then, ding, an email from your boss lands with some last-minute feedback. Instead of totally breaking your concentration to go digging through your messy inbox,
You can just ask Gemini to find that specific email and summarize the changes for you right there in the slide side panel. You never have to leave your workflow. Your focus stays right where it needs to be. Okay, I know that was a lot, but it really all boils down to a simple 4-step checklist you can use for your very next presentation.
So let's recap the whole thing. Step 1. Use Google Drive to synthesize all your files into a smart outline. Step 2. Workshop.txt in Canvas to get the story just right. Step 3. Jump into slides to generate the deck and those awesome custom visuals. And finally, Step 4. Polish it all off by having it draft your speaker notes. Boom! Done.
And this really is the most important thing to remember. This whole process isn't about AI replacing you or your creativity. It's about letting the AI handle the drudgery, all the boring, repetitive tasks, so that you can focus on what we humans do best, telling a great story and actually connecting with your audience.
You see, when you master this workflow, you're not just making slides faster. You're actually freeing up all that mental energy to make them better. So the only question left is, are you ready to give it a try?
And really quick, let's hit the top 3 questions I always get. Yes, you do need a paid Gemini plan to make all this work. Yes, you can still export everything to PowerPoint when you're done. And most important, if you're on a business plan, your data stays private. Thanks so much for tuning in.